Assembly Bill 1101 by Assemblymember Bonilla and act relating to pupil school enrollment.
Senator Lara.
Thank you, Madam President and members. AB 1101 requires school boards to adopt a student residency investigation policy at a public school board hearing before investigating any students. AB 1101 requires the school district to disclose the investigatory policies, including whether the district employs a private investigator. This bill will prohibit the covert collection of photo or video images of an individual under investigation. Additionally, AB 1101 would require employees and contractors of the district to identify themselves truthfully to individuals they contact during an investigation. Schools should have the tools available to investigate residency issues. However, we need to ensure safeguards are in place to protect those students being investigated, especially elementary school-aged children. This bill received bipartisan support in Senate Education Committee, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Senator Allen, under debate and discussion. Senator Allen.
This is a question for the author. I'm
Wait,
trying to.
one second. Would you take a question, Senator Lara?
No, I'm joking, yes.
Senator Allen, go ahead.
I'm literally trying to find out. I know there were some last-minute amendments made to this bill that I'm so sorry for doing this last minute. I haven't been able to get the information myself to clear up some of the concerns that existed for school districts with regards to implementation. I just wanted to get the status of that. I wasn't quite sure what the latest was.
I'll make sure I contact you with the author. I'm not sure.
I'm sorry, Senator.
If you'd like to wait for a moment, and we'll hold off on this item so you can answer the question.
Thank you, Madam
We'll come
President.
back to you.
I'll get you that information, Senator Allen.
All right, and with that in mind, we'll go on to file item 94, and we'll come back to this at an appropriate point. However, Senator Hill, would you like to lift the call on file item 28? Mr. Secretary, please lift the call. Call the absent members.
Cannella, Galgiani, Hertzberg, aye. Hueso, Lara, aye.
One more time, please. Please call the absent members.
Cannella, Galgiani, Hueso.
Ayes 22, noes 15. That measure passes. Moving along now to file item 98. File item 98. That is, we'll go to 94. Did I miss 94? My apologies. File item 94, Senator Glazer, do you wish to take up Assemblymember Gonzalez measure? All right, Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 546 by Assemblymember Gonzalez and act relating to peace officers.
Senator Glazer.
Thank you, Madam President and Senators. I'm pleased to present AB 546 by Assemblywoman Gonzalez. Under existing law, probation officers are required to complete most of the probation training through the Board of State and Community Corrections, with the exception of one course. The Penal Code 832 Arrest and Firearms course is required to be certified by the Peace Officer Standards and Training, also known as POST. This course consists of a minimum of 64 hours learning domains such as use of force, laws of arrest, search and seizure, among others. In order for a department to offer a PC 832 course, the course and trainer must be certified by POST. The problem, however, is that probation departments across the state are facing significant issues accessing this training course. According to the Chief Probation Officers of California, the average trainee may have to wait 6 to 12 months for a course, and many departments have to send officers out of county at an added expense. Despite the aforementioned needs, additional courses have not been considered for certification by POST, thus delaying the start of service for new probation department hires. In order to ensure the state's meeting local and regional training demands, this bill would authorize probation departments that have met all of their training and testing specifications and are willing to pay for putting on the course the ability to be certified by POST, even if POST's internal review of needs is not met. This bill is narrowly tailored for probation officers and will not impact the training of other peace officers. The bill's received unanimous bipartisan support, and I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Senator Glazer. Debate or discussion on this item? Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, is there any objection to substituting a unanimous roll call? Seeing and hearing none.
4-0.
Ayes 40, no 0. That measure passes. And now we will go to file item 98. File item 98. Senator Hertzberg, do you wish to take this up? All right, Mr. Secretary, please read. Pass on file? All right, pass on file. We'll move to file item 114. File item 114. Senator Lara, do you wish to take up file item 114?
Yes.
Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 1245 by Assemblymember Cooley and Acroling to unemployment insurance.
Senator Lara.
Thank you, Madam President and members. AB 1245 requires employers to file unemployment insurance taxes electronically with the Employment Development Department, EDD. In order to properly implement the electronic filing requirement will be phased in over 2 years, beginning in 2017. This transition will save California millions of dollars without requiring any upfront cost or additional infrastructure. AB 1245 includes a hardship provision to allow for those continued use of paper reporting if an employer does not have the ability to use a web-based system. Thank you. I respectfully ask for your aye votes.
Thank you, Senator Lara. Any debate or discussion on this item? Any debate or discussion on file item 114? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. I. Anderson. I. Bates. I. Bell. I. Berryhill. I. Block. I. Canella. I. De Leon. Fuller. I. Gaines. Galgiani. I. Glazer. I. Hall. I. Hancock. I. Hernandez. I. Hertzberg. I. Hill. I. Hueso. I. Huff. I. Jackson. I. Lara. Leno. I. Leva. I. Liu. I. McGuire. I. Mendoza. I. Mitchell. I. Monning. I. Morlock. Morrell. Wynn. Nelson. Pan. I. Pavley. I. Roth. I. Runner. I. Stone. I. Vidak. I. Wachowski. I. Wolk. Wolk, aye.
Please call the absent members.
De Leon. Aye. Gaines. No. Lada. Aye. Morlock. Aye. Morrell. No. Wynn. No. Nielsen.
Ayes 36, noes 3. The measure passes. Colleagues, we're going to go back to file item 106. File item 106, Assemblymember O'Donnell by Senator Block. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 566 by Assemblymember O'Donnell and Acroling to school facilities.
Just want to make sure everybody's awake. All right, file item 106, Senator Block.
Thank you, Madam President. AB 566 requires contractors and any subcontractors for lease, leaseback, and lease-to-own projects to use a skilled and trained workforce. Under current law, any public work project over $15,000 must go through the competitive bidding process. Leaseback bypasses the bidding process by allowing a school district to lease property to a contractor for just $1 without going to bid. The contractor then constructs a school facility using its own capital and then leases the building back to the school district. The school district makes lease payments and at the conclusion of the lease payments takes title to the property. School districts have used leaseback as a construction contract but without going to bid. This bill attempts to provide some assurances that we are getting a quality product by requiring a pre-qualification of all contractors and subcontractors and requiring the use of a skilled and trained workforce. The bill is consistent with requirements for design build in SB 785 by Senator Wolk last year and refinery from SB 54 by Senator Hancock in 2013. I ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Senator Block. Debate or discussion on this item? Any debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. Anderson. No. Bates. No. Bell. Aye. Berryhill. Block. Aye. Canella. De Leon. Aye. Fuller. No. Gaines. Galgiani. Glazer. Hall. I. Hancock. I. Hernandez. I. Hertzberg. I. Hill. I. Weso. I. Huff. Jackson.
Aye.
I. Lada. I. Leno. I. Leyva. I. Liu. I. McGuire. Mendoza. I. Mitchell. I. Monning. I. Morlock. No. Morrell. No. Wynn. No. Nielsen. No. Pan. I. Pavley. I. Roth. I. Runner. No. Stone. No. Vidak. No. Wykowski. I. Wolk. Wolk, aye.
Please call the absent members.
Allen. I. Berryhill. Cannella. Gaines. Galgiani. Gaines, no. Galgiani, aye. Glazer. Aye. Huff. No. McGuire. Aye. Berryhill, no.
Ayes 26, noes 13. The measure passes. File item 115, Senator Hertzberg. Mr. Secretary, please read Assemblymember Burke's measure, file item 115.
Assembly Bill 879 by Assemblymember Burke, an act relating to juveniles.
Senator Hertzberg.
Thank you, Madam President. Our juvenile court system, as we all know, sees some of the most troubling cases. They bring together social workers, foster care providers, law enforcement, children, and parents to the process. The system relies currently on somewhat of an outdated first-class certified snail mail system, and we believe, certainly, this measure supports the notion that we need to create a modern voluntary program for county welfare agencies to provide notice through email. All of the parties, the courts, the counties, the individuals must agree to participate in such notification, and there are certain important exceptions in this regard. Ask for your support of this measure. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Hertzberg. Debate or discussion? Is there a debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, is there any objection to substituting a unanimous roll call? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 40, no 0. The measure passes. File item 116. File item 116, Senator Hancock. Not at her desk. File item 117. File item 117, Senator Mitchell, do you wish to take up this item? Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 1475 by Assemblymember Cooper, an act relating to sexual abuse.
Senator Mitchell.
Thank you very much, Madam President. AB 1475 by Assemblymember Cooper defines and recognizes sexual assault response teams, also known as SART, in statute. This bill allows for each county to create a multi-agency SART designed to provide a team approach to responding to sexual assaults throughout the community. A SART may consist of representatives from various law enforcement agencies, the DA's office, Rape Crisis Center, Sexual Assault Forensic Examination team members, and the Crime Lab. Many counties already have a SART in their communities, and AB 1475 will codify these teams into statute to ensure that sexual assault victims receive compassionate, competent, and timely care. This bill has received bipartisan support and received no votes. I respectfully ask for your vote on behalf of the Assembly member.
Senator Stone, under
Thank you,
debate and
Madam
discussion.
President, I rise in support of AB 1475 as a county that has had a SART program since I was elected to the Board of Supervisors in 2005, which is multi-jurisdictional as far as public safety, representatives of the Rape Crisis Center, the nurses that do the SART exams, and the benefits of having the SART committee is they meet monthly and they go through the way men and women are examined to find better ways to gather the forensic evidence to make sure that those perpetrators that are responsible for these heinous crimes on men and women in our society are held accountable. We need to give the best tools they can to the district attorneys that are going to be prosecuting these cases. And as a result, we've increased the percentage of our prosecutions because of the tools that we've given to our district attorneys. And for those reasons, as a member of the Public Safety Committee, I rise in support and urge an aye vote, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Stone. Any further debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Senator Mitchell, would you like to close?
Ask for an aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you. All debate having ceased, is there any objection to substituting a unanimous roll call? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 40, no 0. That measure passes. Moving on to file item 119 by Assemblymember Dolly. Senator Nielsen, Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 53 by Assemblymember Dolly relative to the Richard Dick Dickerson Memorial Highway.
Madam President and ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, Dick Dickerson was a state assemblyman, served a good portion of the North State for a number of years. I knew him well to my earliest years as a senator in the North State, trying to fight the incursion of the methamphetamine labs out into the rural counties. And he had a long career in law enforcement dealing with such individuals. Dick retired, but he was always active in his community. So active then, he ran for the City Council of Reading and served many years on that council. Here in the state legislature, he was indeed a champion of the North State and very protective of the water of the North State. We call it part of North State values. He supported the increasing of law enforcement professionals and firefighters, very critical to all California, but particularly the North State. He had a big hand in reshaping the future of the Klamath Basin in terms of water drainage and land management in those areas. He gained some exemption on propane and diesel that helped California agriculture. And he was always supportive of the funding for our rural sheriffs. Dick and his wife, Betty, were married, I believe, for some 33 years. Both delightful people. I still stay in touch with Betty. They have 4 children and 8 grandchildren. Betty continues to live in Reading. Assemblyman Dickerson will be remembered here and long remembered in his home territory. Please join me in recognizing this stretch of Highway 44 in Shasta County, honoring Assemblyman Dick Dickerson.
Thank you, Senator Nielsen. Any debate or discussion on this item? Seeing and hearing none, is there any objection to substituting a unanimous roll call? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 39, no 0. The measure passes. Moving on, we have 4 more items to take up, and then the governor's appointment, colleagues. We have now file item 125 by Assemblymember Gonzalez, Senator Mendoza. Mr. Secretary, please read. File item 125.
Assembly Bill 304 by Assemblymember Gonzalez, an act relating to employment and declaring the urge thereof to take effect immediately.
Senator Mendoza.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, I'm here to present AB 304 by Assemblymember Gonzalez. Last year, the Healthy Workplaces and Healthy Families Act of 2014 was signed into law by Governor Brown, giving more than 6.5 million workers a right to accrue no less than 3 paid sick days a year. At the time, the author committed to continue working on the bill in order to ensure that California's paid sick days policy could be implemented as seamlessly as possible. The bill before you today, AB 304, is a result of months of work and negotiations to do just that. Among other things, AB 304 aligns the state's paid sick days law with the state law governing CalPERS retired annuitants, clarifies that employers are not required to provide more than 3 paid sick days if the employer had a sick day policy prior to January 1st of 2015, provides for labor management consensus in the motion picture and construction industries, and provides added employer flexibility for how sick leave may be calculated for non-exempt employees. Additionally, the bill contains an urgency clause to ensure that these clarifications go into effect immediately. The bill passed out of the Senate Labor Committee on a unanimous bipartisan vote. It has no opposition. I would respectfully ask for your unanimous roll call vote today.
Thank you, Senator Mendoza. Debate or discussion? Senator Stone.
Madam President, as Vice Chair of the Labor Committee, I stand and support this bill. The changes that are made will help businesses comply with the sick leave accrual calculations. It can be complicated, so it's good for business, and I urge and I vote.
Thank you, Senator Stone. Senator Mendoza, would you like to close? Seeing and hearing no other debate or discussion?
Respectfully ask for your vote, Madam President.
All debate having ceased, is there any objection to roll call vote? All right, let's ask Mr. Secretary to please call the roll.
Allen. I. Anderson. I. Bates. I. Bell. I. Berryhill. Block. I. Canella. I. De Leon. I. Fuller. Gaines. Galgiani. I. Glazer. Hall. I. Hancock. I. Hernandez. I. Hertzberg. I. Hill. I. Weso. I. Huff. I. Jackson.
Aye.
I. Lada. I. Leno. I. Leyva. I. Liu. I. McGuire. I. Mendoza. I. Mitchell. I. Monning. I. Morlock. I. Morrell. Wynn. I. Nilsson. I. Pan. I. Pavley. I. Roth. I. Runner. I. Stone. I. Vidak. I. Wachowski. I. Wolk.
Please call the absent members.
Berryhill. I. Fuller. I. Gaines. I. Glazer. I. Morrell. I. Wolk.
Ayes 39, no 0 on the urgency. Ayes 39, no 0 on the measure. Moving to file item 126, Senator Monning. Mr. Secretary, please read. I'm sorry, Senator Mendoza. For what purpose, sir?
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to request immediate transmittal to the Assembly.
Without objection.
Thank
That
you.
will be the order. Senator Monning, file item 126. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 1147 by Assemblymember Mainshine, enacting to health facilities and declaring the urge thereof to take effect immediately.
Senator Monning.
Thank you, Madam President and members. AB 1147 would permit medically fragile adults to continue to receive services at a pediatric day health and respite care facility until 22 years of age and sets a number of statutory regulations for these facilities to operate. The bill will ensure these individuals receive the quality care they are used to and in an environment they are comfortable in, which is safe. This is important to their future treatment and well-being. Members, I respectfully ask for your aye vote. And if this passes, Madam President, would request immediate transmittal to the Assembly. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Monning. Any debate or discussion on this item? Seeing and hearing none, is there any objection to substituting a unanimous roll call? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 39, no 0 on the urgency, ayes 39, noes 0 on the measure, and without objection, this matter will be transmitted immediately to the Assembly. Moving right along, we are at file item 132, Senator Hancock. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 816 by Assemblymember Bonta, enacting to cooperative corporations.
Senator Hancock.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm pleased to present AB 816 on behalf of Assemblymember Bonta. AB 816 will advance the creation of new small businesses, create jobs, and create a clear pathway for worker-owned businesses to incorporate. Worker co-ops provide jobs, they build local economies by building the wealth of their members, and are locally accountable and rooted in the community and often reinvest back into their business in the community. Currently, worker-owned businesses must incorporate under the Consumer Cooperative Corporation laws with provisions that are more appropriate for consumer-owned enterprises. This system leads to confusion and raises barriers for businesses trying to form as worker co-ops. AB 16 provides a clear legal template for the formation of worker-owned businesses. It passed Senate Banking and Finance Committee with unanimous bipartisan support, and I would ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Senator Hancock. Any debate or discussion on this item? Any debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. I. Anderson. Bates. I. Bell. I. Berryhill. Block. I. Canella. I. De Leon. Fuller. I. Gaines. I. Galgiani. I. Glazer. I. Hall. I. Hancock. I. Hernandez. I. Hertzberg. I. Hill. Weso. I Huff. Jackson. I Lotta. I Leno. I Leva. I Lou. I McGuire. I Mendoza. I Mitchell. I Monning. I Morlock. I Morrell. Wynn. I Nilsson. I Pan. I Pavley. I Roth. I Runner. I Stone. I Vidak. I Wykowski. I Wolk.
Please call the absent members.
Anderson. I Berryhill. I De Leon. Hill. I Huff. I Morrell. I Wolk.
Ayes 38, noes 0. The measure passes. Our last item, colleagues, before we take up governor's appointments is file item 133 by Senator Leyva. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 251 by Assemblymember Levine, enacting to Public Works.
Senator Leyva.
Thank you, Madam President. Good afternoon, members. AB 251 would provide that a public safety subsidy is de minimis if it is both less than $250,000 and less than 2% of the total project cost. This would allow a developer, if he or she chooses to seek and/or accept a public subsidy, to know if the Prevailing Wage Act will then cover the project. Currently, the prevailing wage law itself is triggered for public projects of $1,000 or more. In 2001, SB 975 created a de minimis exception where a project does not become subject to the prevailing wage law if it receives a public subsidy that is de minimis in the context of the project. However, SB 975 did not specifically define what de minimis is. Lack of clarity has led the California Department of Industrial Relations to interpret de minimis in various ways. DIR has made determinations of de minimis on projects that have had public subsidies given to developers up to $4.5 million. In these cases, the public subsidy is a notable amount of taxpayer investment, so it is reasonable to require payment of prevailing wages. AB 251 will clearly define when a public subsidy is de minimis for the purpose of determining when prevailing wage is applied to projects. And I think all of us know that prevailing wage jobs are good jobs for all of our communities. Members, I thank you for your consideration and respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Debate or discussion on this item? Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. Aye. Anderson. No. Bates. No. Bell. Aye. Berryhill. Block. Aye. Canella. Aye. De Leon. Fuller. No. Gaines. No. Galgiani. Glazer. Hall. Aye. Hancock. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Hertzberg. Aye. Hill. Aye. Wisso. Huff. No. Jackson.
Aye.
Aye. Lotta. Aye. Leno. Aye. Leva. Aye. Lou. Aye. McGuire. Aye. Mendoza. Aye. Mitchell. Monning. Aye. Morlock. No. Morrell. No. Wynn. No. Nilsson. No. Pan. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Roth. Runner. Stone. No. Vidak. No. Wykowski. Aye. Wolk.
Please call the absent members.
Berryhill. De Leon. Galgiani. Berryhill, no. Galgiani. Glazer. Hueso. Aye. Mitchell. Roth. Aye. Runner. No. Wolk. Glazer, aye.
Please call the absent members.
De Leon. Galgiani. Mitchell. Wolk.
Ayes 23, noes 13. The measure passes. Colleagues, we still have one outstanding item, file item 73. Senator Lara, do you have a response to Senator Allen?
Yes, I do.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam President. Again, just to remind members, this is AB 1101, which requires school boards to adopt a student residency investigation policy at a public school board hearing before investigating any students. In response to my freshman colleague from Santa Monica, I'd like to, amendments were taken in Senate Education. The amendments do not prohibit photography or videotaping as long as the technology is in public view. Those were the latest amendments that were taken. Members, and so respectfully ask for your aye votes.
All right, any further debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. Anderson. Aye. Bates. Bell. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Block. Aye. Cannella. Aye. De Leon. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Galgioni. Aye. Glazer. Aye. Hall. Aye. Hancock. Aye. Hernandez. Hertzberg. Hill. Aye. Wisso. Aye. Huff. Aye. Jackson.
Aye.
Aye. Lada. Aye. Leno. Aye. Leba. Aye. Liu. Aye. McGuire. Aye. Mendoza. Aye. Mitchell. Monty. Aye. Morlock. Morrell. Wynn. Aye. Nielsen. Aye. Pan. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Roth. Aye. Runner. Aye. Stone. Aye. Vidak. Aye. Wykowski. Wolk.
Please call the absent members.
Allen. Aye. Bates. Aye. De Leon. Gaines. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Hertzberg. Mitchell. Morlock. Aye. Morrell. Aye. Wykowski. Wolk.
Ayes 35, no 0. The measure passes. Colleagues, we are going to move to motions, return to motions and resolutions. Motions and resolutions. This is the time to adjourn in memory. Senator Hueso, followed by Senator Stone and Senator Morlock. We will then hopefully be ready to conclude our proceedings. I know the Assembly has a number of committees that have begun, and many of us are being asked to participate. So Senator Hueso, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Today, I would like to adjourn in memory of a champion for public transparency. I rise and adjourn in memory of Imperial Valley Press reporter who passed away on June 27th in Brawley, California, unfortunately of heart failure. Patrick David Heald was born on July 9, 1957 in Kansas City, Missouri, and was raised in San Diego, California. He held a degree in journalism from Eastern Washington State University, then went to work in San Diego, California, and then he ended his career in El Centro, California, also in my district. Mr. Heald always concerned himself with social issues affecting Imperial Valley. He believed in honest governance and made it his mission to uncover the truth for the benefit of the community. He was known to have an unrelenting style of tracking down the news. He was excited when a story came together. He didn't let anyone get away with easy answers. His articles in the Imperial Valley Press always added a sentimental value that connected its readers. A recent article he wrote, which took him 2 years to write, Happy Father's Day, Mom, where he relates the difficulties of single parenting and growing up under government assistance programs. Patrick was a supporter of local events and the arts. He was known as a strong supporter of the North County Coalition of the Arts, Imperial County Arts Commission. He also liked to play golf. He loved San Diego Chargers and Padres, even when they lost, which was often. He is survived by his wife, Deanna Lemons Heald, his 3 children, Sarah, Sean, and Courtney, and 3 grandchildren. As a fixture of the Imperial Valley, he will be dearly missed by all those lives he touched. I ask you to join in memory of, in his memory today. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Hueso, and condolences from the Senate to his family. and if you would bring that name forward as well. Thank you. Senator Stone, for what purpose, sir?
For adjournment?
Without objection.
Madam President, thank you very much. And members, I rise today to adjourn in the memory of Antoinette Messineo, who passed away last week. Mrs. Messineo was the grandmother of Michael Garrison, who serves as a staffer in the State Assembly and is president of the Riverside County Young Republicans. Antoinette was born in 1928 in Brooklyn, New York, and she grew up extremely poor, where she and her family grew vegetables in their yard and sold them around Brooklyn as their source of income. When they were able, Antoinette married her husband, Sebastian Messineo, in 1949 and ultimately moved to Queens and then to New Jersey, where they established a successful family business. Mrs. Messineo was passionate about her Italian ancestry and was always having food ready to serve any family members or guests who would stop by. Antoinette is survived by 5 sisters, 4 children, 10 grandchildren, 8 great-grandchildren who live across the entire United States. Madam Chair, thank you for allowing me to adjourn in the memory of Antoinette Messineo, and please join me in sending our condolences to her grandson, Michael, and the rest of her family, who will miss her greatly.
Thank you, Senator Stone, for bringing that forward, and certainly our condolences to Michael and the entire family. Senator Morlock, sir, for what purpose?
Adjournment.
Without objection.
Thank you, Madam President. I adjourn in memory today, colleagues, for the Reverend Charles Mansky, who was the founder of Concordia University, Irvine. He died last Saturday of pancreatic cancer on July 4th. He was an Irvine resident and passed at the age of 82. He was born October 20th, 1932 in Sibawing, Michigan, where he grew up in a family of Lutheran school teachers. He considered a career in law, but felt called to pursue professional service in the Lutheran Church. In 1953, after a 10-week summer visit to Southern California to work with local Lutheran parishes, he decided the future of Lutheranism was in Southern California because of the ethnic diversity. After the visit, he wrote a set of life goals, among them to start a new Lutheran college in Southern California. In 1973, while serving as campus pastor at the University of Southern California, Mansky was asked by Lutheran leaders to help establish Christ College Irvine. 3 years later, the school launched with 36 students in one building. About this time, they became a client of my firm's, and I went to groundbreakings at Christ College Irvine up in Turtle Rock in Irvine. Charles Mansky served as president until 1979, when he transitioned to a faculty position. Today, the campus enrolls more than 4,000 students. One student would become my son-in-law, and the wedding ceremony was performed on the campus. Mansky is survived by his wife of 48 years, Barbara Mansky, and their children, David, Christine, and Noel. I had the good fortune of being with Charles just in May, so we had a final conversation. He was a great servant leader. I just ask the Senate to remember his family and the Concordia University of Irvine family at this time of loss. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Morlock, and please bring the name forward so that we can properly memorialize this, and condolences to his family. Anything else under motions and resolutions? Senator Hill, sir, for what purpose?
Thank you, Madam President. Purpose of announcements, please.
Without objection.
Business Professions and Economic Development will be meeting as soon as we adjourn in 3191. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Hill. Senator Lara.
Thank you. For the purpose of announcement, just to remind members and the Capitol community that we're having a reception for Coach Fisher upon adjournment in room 211.
Thank you very much. Any further announcements? Seeing none, and if there is no other business, Senator Monning, the desk is clear.
Thank you, Madam President. The Senate will be in recess until 3:30 this afternoon, which time the adjournment motion will be made. Members will reconvene at 9 a.m. on Thursday morning. 9 a.m. Thursday morning.
Thank you, Senator Monning. The Senate will be in recess until 3:30, at which time the adjournment motion will be made. We will reconvene Thursday at 9 a.m.